the podcast that's all teach and no baloney, with our daily 10-minute business lessons for the real world. I'm your host, your coach, your teacher, Omar Zenhom. I'm also the co-founder of the $100 MBA, a complete business training and community online. And today, you will learn how to manage your calendar. I'm going to share with you some great strategies and tips on how to make sure you don't have what I call calendar overwhelm, but at the same time, still ensure your appointments and deadlines are met. There is no time to waste, so let's get down to business. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by InfoFree.com. If you're struggling to find new customers, I completely get it. Most contact lists are outdated and don't have the sales leads that are right for your business. But InfoFree.com makes it super easy. With their database of 14 million businesses and 220 million consumers, it gives you the power to target the specific leads that are right for your business. And InfoFree.com is giving you a 30-day risk-free trial of its services. Just go to InfoFree.com/MBA and have some great leads for your business at your fingertips. That's InfoFree.com/MBA. Let me first say it doesn't matter which calendar you're using. We use Google Calendar, but if you're using Outlook or Yahoo, it's okay. You'll be able to use the strategies in today's lesson no matter what calendar program you're using. So let's begin with some key principles before we dig into the strategies on how to manage your calendar properly. All right, principle number 1. If you don't abide by the calendar, it's useless. If you put tasks or appointments in the calendar but never check your calendar, then there's no point. A calendar is a great tool, but you got to use the tool. This is like having an exercise bike in your living room that you never actually use. Having it sit there in your living room is not going to do anything, and the same thing goes with your calendar. You not only have to put in the assignments, the tasks, the appointments, you have to constantly abide by it. Follow that calendar. All right, principle number 2. Check your calendar at the end of the day to check tomorrow's activities, and do the same at the start of every day. Let me tell you why this is important. At the end of every day, I check my calendar to see, do I have anything tomorrow? Is there anything early in the morning that I need to make sure I get up extra early for? It also helps me set up my mindset. What am I going to be doing the next morning? Tomorrow is a day of interviews. Tomorrow is a day where I'm going to go hard on, creating great content for the blog. Whatever it is, you want to just set yourself up so you know what you're going to be doing tomorrow. And it also makes sure that you're up on time for whatever you got to do. Now, checking it in the morning also does the same thing. You're just reminding yourself, and you're kind of just saying, this is my tasks for the day. This is what my day looks like. It's very important to set your mind up in the beginning of the day, to set up your mindset. I'm the kind of person that if I know what to expect, I feel calm. I know what's expected. Whenever I feel overwhelmed, I do a list or I put things in the calendar. I start to feel better because now I know I can get them done as long as I follow that strategy or that list or that calendar. So knowing what the tasks are at hand for the day is really important at the start of the day. All right, principle number 3. Never agree to anything without checking your calendar first. Obviously, there's exceptions to this. If your mom needs help or something, mom's always first. But generally, if you agree to something without checking your calendar, you're asking for trouble. If you're eager to say yes to something, say yes, but say tentative to checking your calendar, checking if you're available at that time, or we'll work it out. We'll find a day that works. Yes to the idea, but the time will finalize. If you just say yes without checking, you're often going to be able to break promises that you make. So make sure you check your calendar. And with smartphones now, it's super easy. All right, principle number 4, you are the master of the calendar and not the other way around. A calendar helps you do what you want to do efficiently. So if there's something in there that you don't like or you're not interested in doing, remove it. You're the boss. Don't be afraid to change things around to fit the way you want to work. All right, guys, let's get into the strategies of managing your calendar. The first step in using a calendar is to fill your calendar with slots or points of time where you have to do your must-do tasks. So for example, from 10 to 2, I have that blog book to write 2 blog posts. These are tasks you have to do to be in business, things that keep you in business. This can be product production or writing blog posts like I mentioned, or recording a marketing video, or even replying to emails. That's a really important point. I mentioned this before in a previous episode, but make time to reply to emails. Check and reply to emails. But when you make time for it, that means you don't check it other than that time. This is how you can get really efficient. And you can schedule 2 times during the day. You can say, 30 minutes here, 30 minutes here. And by doing that, you don't waste time by reading emails over and over. You read them and you reply to them right there in that time slot. A lot of time for all your tasks throughout the week. So you have a task list, make a time in your calendar for each task you have to complete. Make sure in your calendar, you also allot time for breaks, lunch, snacks, maybe going for a walk for 20 minutes. A break can really help you get back in business and really energize you. So make sure you incorporate those breaks in your calendar. All right, let's move on. Make sure you allot a time for meetings with your team, whether you have a small team of 2, 3, or 4 people, or if it's just you and maybe you're a virtual assistant, or maybe even just with the freelancer that's working with you on a certain project. Allow time for that meeting. Allow time for management. Even if you're all by yourself, you're a lone ranger, a lone wolf, making this happen on your own, you have to allow time for management. You have time to plan and think and plan out what's going to happen in the next week, 2 weeks, month, year. What is your business going to be like? You got to be in CEO mode at some point. So allow time for that in your calendar as well. All right. The next thing is assign time for appointments you regularly make with others. For example, I often am a guest on other people's podcasts, so I assign a few hours in my calendar on Tuesdays for those interviews. You can use a calendar booking software, which is different from your regular calendar, something that's like Calendly or Schedule Once. These are two that are very popular, Calendly and Schedule Once. And these allow you to book a time that's available on your calendar, on your Google Calendar. Say, hey, Tuesdays from this time to this time, I want to be available, and I want the public to know I'm available. You just set those times you want to be open on that day or days on your calendar. And once that's all set up, you can let other people know by sending them your Calendly or Schedule Once link. It syncs up with your calendar, your Google or Outlook calendar. So then you can just send that link and say, hey, if you want to interview me, here are my available times, book a time. And then when they book a time, again, it syncs with your calendar. This is a good way to just schedule a time. So I have a time that's set for my interviews that I do on other podcasts, and then I just let those people, they say, hey, I want to interview you. That'd be great. I say, great. Just choose a time from this calendar. I give them the link, and they just choose a time. And then every Tuesday, I look on my calendar and say, okay, I have these interviews at this time. Or for some reason, I don't have an interview or one interview, then I can use that bonus time for other things if I like. Or you can take a break. You can go for a jog or maybe shoot some hoops or whatever you want to do. Guys, I got more about how to manage your calendar, but let's take a quick break and give love to today's sponsor. Today's episode of the $100 MBA Show is sponsored by highfive.com. How many times have you had a meeting where you wasted the first 15 minutes? It's usually because someone is having trouble joining the call, or you can't share your screen, or someone else can't hear you, or they don't have the right PIN code. Nothing but problems. Well, the people at High Five wanted to give back your first 15 minutes of every meeting, and that's why they built an easy-to-use video and web conferencing tool. Traditional video providers are ridiculously complicated and insanely expensive. Most web-only providers ignore the conference room experience. There's long PIN codes to remember, cables everywhere, time wasted. And IT has to spend time and money setting up and supporting your meetings. But High Five has seamlessly integrated hardware and software and lets people work however they want. Enjoy productive meetings in HD video with multiple people. Instantly start an HD video meeting from your computer or mobile device. And High Five is only 1/20th of the cost of traditional video partners. Outfit your conference room for only $799, and that's a one-time fee. There's no maintenance fee or monthly overhead. It's yours to enjoy. What team doesn't want to have High Five in their office? Take back your first 15 minutes of every meeting and get started today. Go to highfive.com/MBA and request a free trial of High Five. That's highfive.com/MBA and request your free trial and start meeting face-to-face with High Five. Guys, one more strategy when it comes to managing your calendar. If you're traveling for business or for pleasure, make sure you book out that time of travel on your calendar. It's very hard to get work done while traveling. If you're going on a conference, obviously if you're going on vacation, you shouldn't be working. This is especially important if you're going away on business. A lot of us think we can just carry on with our schedule. No, you cannot. You have limitations. You're moving around. You're in the air. So what I usually do is leave my travel dates booked out. So they're completely booked out. I can't schedule anything on them on the calendar. I just have traveling. So there are no tasks assigned for that time period. And that goes from the moment I leave my house to go to the airport all the way till I get home. Now, I might have some time on my hands when I'm traveling, so if I do get anything done, like catching up on emails or writing a blog post I've been meaning to write for a while, then it's a bonus. Then I'm in the positive, and I've done something that I wasn't really relying on, but got done because I had the time for it while I was traveling. It's very important for you to estimate your time properly when you're using your calendar. So be real. When you're traveling, it's really hard to get anything done, so book it out, and if you do get things done, it's all gravy. All right, guys, that wraps up today's lesson. Which takeaway in today's lesson did you find most useful? Let me know in an iTunes rating and review. I'd love to hear what you found useful. Just click on the cover art on your iPhone right now. You'll see a link that says, give us a rating and review. Click that link, and everything from there is easy. I'm always trying to refine my craft so I can be able to deliver better and better lessons to you guys. Thank you in advance for giving us your feedback and your review. And thank you for listening, guys. We really, really appreciate the fact that you guys listen every single day to the show. You're subscribers, and we do not take it for granted. Thank you so much. All right, guys, I want to leave you with this. Following a calendar, putting things on the calendar, checking your calendar, these are all habits, and habits need to be formed. They take time to build. There's a great book on this topic that's called The Power of Habit. But the point is, this is a habit. These are habits you have to form. It takes time, so work at it. Stay consistent, and it'll just become second nature. All right, guys, I hope that helps, and I hope to see you in tomorrow's episode. I'll see you then. Take care.